Continuing where we left off, we are now going to begin setting up our comparison groups so we can start comparing our enrollment data with that of other universities. To begin creating our comparison groups, we want to look over on the left-hand side of the page under Create Comparison Groups, and we want to start by giving our group a name. The first comparison group we are going to create is Florida 4-year schools. This group will look at all the 4-year institutions in the state of Florida, and click Create. The next step in the process is to select whether this is our home institution or a comparison group. We've already set up our home institution, so this is a comparison group for us. When you select Comparison Group, you will be guided to a page where you can begin to filter down to the universities you want to include in your comparison group. If you look in the institutions in your group list on the left-hand side of the page, down at the bottom you'll notice that we have 4,444 institutions in our group currently. We are going to use the available filters to begin narrowing down the list of institutions in our group. We have two categories of filters that we can use to narrow down our list of institutions. We can use filters that narrow by student population or filters that narrow by the type of institution. For this particular example, because we are looking at Florida 4-year schools, we are going to be using the filters under Types of Institutions on the right-hand side of the page. If we come over to this list and scroll down, we see State is the 5th option. If we click to expand the menu, now we're just going to look for Florida. And when we select Florida, we can see that the institutions in our group list narrows down from 4,444 institutions down to 204 institutions. Now we want to apply the filter that will allow us to narrow this down to 4-year institutions in Florida. So if we come back over to our Types of Institutions filters and look for Institution Level, we can see it's the 3rd option on our list. If we click to expand, we see we have 2 options: at least 2 but less than 4 years, or 4 or more years. We are going to apply the second. This limits our data even further, and now we can see that we have 141 institutions in our group over here on the left-hand side of the screen. These are the only 2 filters necessary for this particular comparison group, so we can go ahead and click Save. And when we return back to our Manage Comparisons Groups page, we can see that in our Edit Comparison Groups list, we have 2 groups. We have Florida 4-year schools, as well as USF, our home institution. For use for these tutorials, we are going to add one additional comparison group, and that is going to be land-grant universities. So we come back up to Create Comparison Groups. We can type in the name of our comparison group, land-grant universities, and click Create. Again, this is a comparison group for us, so we'll select Comparison Group. Again, for this comparison group, we are going to limit by the Types of Institution filters. So if we come over to the Types of Institutions located on the right-hand side of the page, I'm first going to go ahead and collapse the 2 menus that we opened in the previous example, Institution Level and State. And now look for Land Grant. Land Grant is the 4th option in our list, and when we click to expand, we can see we have 2 options, Land Grant Institution or not a land-grant institution. We are going to select land-grant institution, and when we do, we can see that the list adjusts, and now we have a total of 109 institutions in our group. This is the only filter that we need to apply for this particular comparison group, so we can go ahead and click Save.